You know what I find very funny? 5 was introduced on episode 5, and guess what episode this is? Episode 10, and guess what? That's 5 episodes later. Zankyou no Terror loves playing the numbers game. It loves making, nice good correlations between titles, to different events, to the dates that the episode airs, like last week. There's just so many different connections that this series, this anime has, that is very interesting. I know for a fact, though, if, a newcomer to this series, let's say if you were to buy the BD or DVDs were to watch this series, you probably wouldn't have the same entertainment value out of it as, us watching the TV broadcast, because with all these different connections with different dates, like 9/11 last week, to with, how 5, dies 5 episodes later, and different stuff like that, I feel like the best way to watch Zankyou no Terror is when it was first airing. Exactly what we're doing now. Now, besides that, 5 dies. She definitely dies in this episode, and it's very shocking. I mean, the way she goes down, I did not expect her to commit suicide. Of all things, I never expected 5 to literally kill herself. Like, she shoots the gasoline pouring out of the vehicle and she blows up with it. Now, it's really sad in some points that she died, and others it's not. I know for a fact a big key factor about this series I've noticed a lot from certain Chibits is that they did not like 5. For instance, 5 is holding back this entire series. And honestly, I agree to a certain extent. She's an interesting character. The only thing I never really liked about 5, honestly, is that she was the antagonist. I thought, our characters 9 and 12 were going to be the anti-hero, and technically they could still be considered anti-heroes at the end of this episode, but it still doesn't change the factor is 5, honestly, as a character, she was good and interesting, but she did not live up to the hype and expectations she had. For instance, in this episode, we find out her motive. We find out what has been driving her to go after 9 and 12, what has been driving her since the very beginning. We find out that her entire motive was to beat 9 for once. She can never beat 9 in the past, and so she wanted to beat him for the first time, and technically, she beat him in this episode, which had a lot of meaning. It was a really good, meaningful part of this episode, and definitely had feels, but at the end of the day, 5 caused all this shit, blowing up things, shooting people, causing all these explosions with airplanes and stuff, just to beat 9 at something. So her motive is a little bit wonky if you think about it, but besides that, the series is a really enjoyable series still. 5 does not hold back the series in my eyes. She doesn't. She was an interesting character, interesting concept, but that's it. Now, looking past 5 of this episode, I love the freaking, bodyguard that 5 had. Oh my god, when he pulls out a gun and is about to shoot 5, I'm like, dude, do it. I thought, 5 was gonna die there, but instead he had 5 shoot him and kill him. I'm like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden, you have it to where she blows herself up. Of all things I thought she would have died to, I did not expect, suicide. I thought she would have at the very least died to the American government, not to suicide. So it just shows you that this series can still throw curveballs at you without you expecting it. That's why I really enjoy Zankyou no Terror. Animation, I do want to talk about that real quick before I get into the real good, awesome beef of this episode that's really badass. There's only one part in this episode with the animation that was kind of iffy. 5. When 5, blows herself up, when you see the fire on 5 and you see the vehicle blow up, it looks really beautiful. It does. But if you look after that scene, and if you look really closely and you see the fire engulf her, she just disappears out of the animation. It's like not, gradual disappearing. It's just like instant disappearing, and the animation looks just really weird in that spot. But besides that, the animation looked really fucking good this episode. Now, let's get into the actual great stuff of this episode. The ending was a big-ass shocker, okay? The atomic bomb is flying up to the fucking sky on this balloon, and it's set to go off at 10 p.m. in Japan. And you have 9 take off his fucking mask on the middle of TV everywhere, and he's like, oh, goodbye Japan. I'm like, dude, that's fucking too badass. That's too fucking badass. I mean, he has set the atomic bomb to blow up, and here's the big question we have to think now. 9 and 12 have shown that they don't want to kill people. They have purposely went out of their way to save civilians. They have shown this through the course of this entire series. They have shown this. Will this atomic bomb go off? Will it actually go off? Or is it a dud? Is there a way to turn it off? I mean, of course, not all of Japan is going to fucking blow up. I highly doubt it. I am 100% certain that the bomb is not going to go off, okay? I could see 9 and 12 dying, fine. I could even see Lisa dying. But I highly doubt the atomic bomb is going to go off. If it is going to go off, I have a theory on that. If the atomic bomb does go off and, 9 is not bluffing, since it technically is on a balloon floating up into the sky, wouldn't the balloon go up to the, highest part of the atmosphere and probably explode and not affect Japan? Wouldn't it be kind of like that if you think about that for a second? So, maybe the reason why the bomb is on a balloon is for it can go higher up above the city and you can see the giant-ass explosion, because technically, 9 will still get his point across. He'll still get his point across if the bomb goes off, because people know that the atomic bomb was being made in Japan. All the news agencies over the entire world will know that there was an atomic bomb, and so technically 9 wins in the end. Even if he gets arrested, he'll still win if that bomb goes off above the city. Now, 9 turning himself in, I did not expect, out of all things, I did not expect 9 to turn himself in, go into the police, make demands, and just ask for Shibazaki. I didn't expect that at all. A very interesting twist with this episode that was really good. I like with the ending, it makes so much sense and it's badass. Now, overall, the episode was really entertaining and awesome, and I just loved it. I really, really loved this episode. Like, you have one scene in this episode where 5 kisses 9, and I was like, oh my god, are they about to get together or something? And then all of a sudden she commits suicide. I was actually kind of starting to ship those two. I was starting to ship 9 and 5 together, and then all of a sudden, yeah, she dies, and then the boat just instantly sank. The boat came up, and then the boat sank instantly. So, in under like a minute, the boat sank. So, what the fuck? What the fuck, Zankyou no Teru? Sink a boat since 2014. So, tell me your thoughts about this episode of Zankyou no Teru. I mean, did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? What's your favorite moments about it? What did you feel about this episode? What did you feel about the epic fucking music? And what do you feel about this series getting closer and closer to its climax? Let me know in the comments below. And do you agree with my theories about the atomic bomb going off in the middle of the atmosphere, like way above the city, to where it doesn't affect Japan? Let me know in the comments below. Love you all so much. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.